Good evening, swords and sorceries, and welcome to a terror-inducing edition of Blood from a Stone, a tale of love and dread in RPG. My name is Philip, and I am the Dreadmaster, and I am joined by one of our wonderful players, Liv. Say, good evening, Liv.
Good evening, Liv.
This is like the old, this is just the Burns and Allen, you know? Say goodnight, crazy. Hi, everybody. Welcome. This is episode 104 of Blood from a Stone. 104 is a multiple of 13, which means my 13s count. The dread clock sits at the hour of 8. Can we get to a dread storm tonight? It is my hope that we will. This is a special game tonight. We were down a few players, but I decided to keep this going because we needed to check back in with both Hattie and the odd, this episode is a weird one, like 99 was, where this is a little more focused on an NPC. We need to see what's going on with the Soldier of Fortune's mission. And he has Hattie along for the ride in a means that is kind of rude. Before we jump into that, I'm going to, I'll give a little, for both of our sakes, Liv, I will give a recap of that, but not until I've opened me dice. All right, 19 is done, guys. We are on to box 20. Lo and behold, it is an Arctic Fox D10. The first roll on the ground. It is a 3. We'll play it where it lies. Oh, so.
What does a 3 mean?
I just rolled to.
What does a 3 mean?
3 doesn't mean anything. 3, honestly, it just means that that's like that dice is not coming out swinging. Like if you roll dice and like on the first roll of any die, if it's like its maximum size, it's like, aha, you are an overachiever. You will serve me well. But this 3 that has been rolled, I do not disrespect it. Also, it's on the ground over there, and that's where it is. So let us chat a little bit about what's going on in this game, because we've had some major events transpiring on Darkmoor's campus with the fusion of Penny and Bradley, the chimerage, as I like to call it, and the return of Everett from a place we don't really know where he was, with a person who apparently is Dracula. I don't know what's going on with that. That's some weirdness. But in any case, we now return to a mission, a labor of love, that one of our mysterious mistwalkers has undertaken, because he wants to find a means for Medina to protect her brain from psychic control, from the dread that can come through the text as she is going to learn and study more. The reason he is doing this is because, kind of unrecognized by him, he would not admit to it by nature of the thing, Medina sang to him some words from the album Blood from the Stone, which she learned when she went back in time and had an experience as Wendy Raven. And due to a 1 on the dice, the Soldier of Fortune was ensorcelled. You have bewitched me body and soul. That's from... I don't think that's actually in Pride and Prejudice, is it? That's just from the Joe Wright version. Is that from the book? Does Colin Firth ever say that in his TV version that everybody likes so much? Because he's in a lake?
You never see it attributed to that. Well, I know the TV version had a bunch of changes.
Interesting.
I don't know. Can someone look for us and tell us in chat?
That's a good question.
Is that in the book? I know Jane Eyre better than Pride and Prejudice. That's the problem.
I see that if you type it in... Oh, I guess it's from the book.
Okay.
Oh, wait. But... Interesting. I don't need to be reading this, but I need a full account to see the explanation. Damn it.
What?
It looks like it is in the book.
Okay. Mystery solved there.
Volume 3, Chapter 16, Chapter 58 overall. So, in any case, he loves her. He went on a quest. He left the Ignador Gate. He ventured towards the Valley of Badiroth, where he met Hattie Ford, who herself left her native realm of Hystalis before the mists were shattered. She managed to get out at the death of the Lute. She's been traveling about for a while. Both of them sort of wanted in here for various reasons. Both were sort of playing their cards close to the vest to one degree or another. But eventually they went through and passed the Gates of Blood. The soldier tried to sort of maybe go through with some deceptiveness, but in the end he had to go through earnestly. And Hattie, as she passed through and was kind of coated in blood, then saw that the Soldier of Fortune had to perform a ritual on himself, which transformed him into a different form. Arguably his true form. Actually, that was never fully confirmed, whether it is his true form or simply a different form for this place. The Soldier of Fortune is now a shadow elf barbarian, which Hattie suggested maybe his little would-be girlfriend would like that a lot more than just big strapping mustache man. He also transformed, notably, his weapons, his guns and knives. Well, I guess his knife maybe stayed, but he transformed his guns into more medieval weapons. Weird, but apparently they're magical enough that you'd want to keep them and just, keep your +3 bonus on a different weapon when you're in a place if you're not allowed to have firearms. They had to pledge themselves to the Lich Queen and accept that the old ways. Hattie wasn't quite sure what this meant, but seemingly that has to do something with the transformation he did. They then entered the dusty, sort of dead valley. There are all sorts of tombs and monuments. It looks like they're in a valley that is largely a graveyard, steep stone walls rising up, but the valley is a couple of miles wide. There is a large castle in the distance with the settlement of the gates. That is where they were going to go, but suddenly a skeletal horse glowing with green energy landed, and a deathly knight in dark armor upon it leapt off. Basically said that the Soldier of Fortune is the one who broke the mists against the wish of the Lich Queen. Is a very bad person. The Soldier of Fortune could have fought, but our esteemed viewers chose a different tactic in which he tried a more subtle approach, expressing that he was here. He's come to offer himself into custody, but to make a deal, for he has information the Lich Queen may want. He brought Hattie as a gift. Hattie said, no, I bounty hunted this guy. Soldier of Fortune said, which of those narratives do you think the Lich Queen will like more? And the guy said, gift. And so Hattie was then thrown over the back of the thing. And as they flew off, the Soldier of Fortune was like, no hard feelings, so tell me more about how to make this girl like me. And that is where we left them. So, the first thing I'm going to do, and again in tonight's game, just like last time, my 13s will be counting. So I'll be rolling some 13s, rolling my old die 13s here, basically for most decisions on this one. Liv is going to be running. Hattie is still built using our noir rules, so Liv will just be running a 5e situation, kind of a hybrid cross-platform system going on. But I'm going to ask Liv this, and if viewers want to weigh in, they may as well. Liv, would you like to pick up right where we left off, or would you like to skip ahead a bit? In other words, if we sort of skip ahead, we'll you might wind up in a more dire situation further along, but we'll be further along to things. Or if you want Hattie to if Hattie is planning to maybe attempt a somewhat immediate escape, then if Hattie is like, well, I'm not going into some dungeon in there, then we could literally pick up from where we left off. I'm cool with either option.
I say we roll for it.
We roll for it. All right. Would you please roll in that case a D13?
How did I?
Let's see.
making those decisions, so I will always leave it up to the dice.
Oh my god, please roll a 13. It would be so rad if you roll a 13 straight ahead right now. Just do it.
Just start with a 13 on this stream
That would be
tonight.
amazing.
Alright, let's see.
It's in a multiple of 13 game.
5.
5?
Mm-hmm.
With a 5. We will pick up exactly where we left off.
Okay.
That was a pure evens odds thing, but then a 13 was gonna just be terror. I didn't even know what 13 would be, but it would just have been something.
I would have to have rolled a second 13.
Nah, but I mean, like, the timing wise, like we would have skipped ahead to destruction.
Oh. Just skip ahead to the terror.
So. You are on the back of a horrible skeletal horse. There is this, like, green sort of energy. It's not really... You can feel a warmth to it, but it doesn't seem like fire. You are bound...
No energy, I'll tell you that.
Yeah. You are bound over the back of the horse. The Soldier of Fortune is there with you, and he's basically just saying, like, I don't know, I don't know, usually I'm not... God, caring really sucks, you know what I mean?
Yeah, you don't seem very adept at that, do you?
Listen, I want to accomplish any mission, but this is like it's like I'm not trying to conquer this woman, I'm trying to occupy her. And that's a much different proposition. I can take any city in the world, but to rule it? Oh my god.
I'm sorry, are you seriously expecting me to have any empathy for you right now?
Oh, because I betrayed you?
Just a bit.
He kind of, he like looks over at the guy, and then he sort of mouths, like,
Wait, am I supposed to know what he's mouthing?
If you can figure it out, he'll try again. Just go.
Can Hattie read lips?
Yeah. Tell you what, make a perception roll, Hattie.
Okay.
That's funny. What are you saying? Repeating, it's not helping, weirdo.
That is 11.
All something of the plan. All plan. You're not sure.
I can probably deduce from the gaps. There aren't too many things that I think make sense in there. The question is whether or not I believe them.
That is a question that you may answer. Please roll an insight.
Oh, excellent. Oof. That's a 7.
You just don't know. Maybe it's his elvish weirdness, maybe it's the fact that he's already betrayed you, but is now asking you about stuff as if you guys are still acquaintances, that he's hard to read. You're just not sure.
He's either a sociopath or trustworthy or kind of stupid.
In any case, this horse flies over this sort of barren, memorial landscape. You see ahead now, more clearly, Hattie, a small settlement at the gates of this castle. It is a town. There are stone buildings. It is a long-lived space, but it is not gated or walled. Though there do seem to be more sort of mausolea and huge sort of statues of memorial stones and graves kind of around the edges of it that sort of bleeds into it here and there. But it seems to be a small, like a castle town. You've encountered these either in studies or perhaps in travels. The idea of the sort of a town that rises up around a major stronghold. But the castle itself has incredibly intense walls. The decor of the castle is very grave and skeleton-like. You're not really seeing skulls, but you see a lot of like bones and almost things that look like the rib cages of giants, but they've now been turned to black basalt, kind of melted into this kind of spiny and very kind of dizzyingly designed structure. There are these sort of spires that seem to stick off of it at almost like tilted angles. And you can imagine like standing on the railings there would be kind of vertigo inducing.
That's intimidating. And I don't have my daggers or my revolver, correct? I left those behind.
You took your daggers, you did leave your revolver behind, but your daggers were taken from you by this person, unless roll a d13. Perhaps they weren't.
Gonna be a lot of D13 rolls tonight, I feel like.
I mean, we're gonna do everything we can.
That's a 13, baby!
Is it a 13 straight out of the gate?
It is a 13!
Oh, the joy of the joy. Alrighty, well. So, we are at the hour of 9. A 13, in this case, go ahead and roll it again. Let's see if we can get ourselves a friendly neighborhood horror surge.
6.
Okay, so no horror surge off that. With a 13, you do not have either of your knives, like any of like your serious cutting things, but I will give you basically like a it can be a nail file or like you have some implement. It will do 1 damage rather than a d4.
Okay.
But you basically have some little, stabbing thing. There's something like in a boot or just something he didn't take from a pocket, whether it's a nail file.
It's a makeup brush that I sharpened into a shiv.
Makeup shiv. It's funny though. That's a great idea. Do we have weapons? I'm also going to roll one for the good old soldier of fortune because he had a lot of weapons. This guy took them, but it was a 13, but then it rolled onto a stupid 2. I just want things to eat, you guys in the sky.
I know.
The soldier of fortune is without weapons. He was patted down more aggressively by this knight.
Yes, of course.
But you guys are heading sort of up towards this castle, toward one of those dizzying spires.
How am I bound again? Am I bound at the wrists?
You are bound at the wrists, but it is manacles. So, and the manacles are actually not, they are not technically attached to anything.
So it's just my wrists are bound together.
Your wrists are, and it's like, you probably have like 6 inches of, there's like a few links of chain between them. So you have some give. You suspect it's more just so like it will be cumbersome for you to try to do stuff, and you can be easily, this link can be easily just linked into other stuff, but he is not linked.
And so is it a lock?
The manacles are locked, yes.
Okay. So can I... Oh, let's see here. What do I have? Now we're going up some stairs?
You're still flying towards one of those spires.
Oh, okay. Never mind.
Yes, but if you're going to attempt to sort of pick your way out of that, I would allow you to use the thing that you've stashed, certainly.
I was gonna say, like, can I stumble and slide it out of my boot? Or can I just reach down and kind of surreptitiously get it out of my boot?
Sure. I would say that now is probably the time to do that while you're still on the horse and he's facing forward, because you guys are kind of like over the rear of the horse behind. So why don't you make let's do a sleight of hand just for you to like reach and grab that. And sleight of hand and stealth are the same for you. Kind of, let's just see if the DC of this is not super high because he is facing forward, but...
That is a 13, a dirty 13.
Dirty 13. All right. The rider sort of shifts a couple times and you like pull your hand back, but you do manage to pull this thing out and you've kind of like got it like kind of in your hand amid stuff. You don't think he's noticed, but you also weren't, like, you're not sure. The Soldier of Fortune does not seem to have noticed either.
Excellent. Can I then begin to try and work on picking the lock?
You absolutely may. While you're still flying?
Sure.
Excellent. Go ahead, and you do not have lockpicking proficiency.
No.
So this will, again, just be a dexterity roll.
Okay.
However, if you'd like to gain advantage on this roll, what we could do, if you want to gain advantage...
How many spaces does it move forward if I gain advantage, Philip?
I'll tell you what. You can roll a d13. On an odd number, it goes forward 1. On an even number, it goes forward 2. On a 13, it goes forward a different number.
Is that number 3?
No, actually, it's not. Here's what it is. Roll a d13. If it's then you'll have advantage on this roll. D13 on a 1, on an odd number, it goes up 1. On an even number, it goes up 2. On a 13, it goes up 2. It goes up 1. But maybe something else happens too.
I feel like if I'm gonna make that much of a bargain, if I roll a 1, it should go up 1. If I roll a 2, it should go back 1.
Nah. It's gonna go up a little bit.
Alright, fuck it, you only live once in this game.
That's true. Unless you're Dahlia, then you do live a couple times.
3.
You rolled a 3.
Yes.
Wonderful. Then, we are at 10, my friends. You had advantage on the roll, so you have a +3 on this, but go ahead and roll with advantage.
Okay. With advantage, I hit 15.
A 15. You are trying to go very careful, very surreptitious. So far, he hasn't noticed. You know that as you're sort of heading down towards this castle, you're like, you'll be more observed later. The Soldier of Fortune still does not observe this. He's just kind of like looking down. You think he's got his own schemes and plans in his mind. But you do feel the little click inside of the lock. And because this came at a cost of a thing, I'll say that, are you trying to do both?
Oh, that's a good question.
Or are you just undoing one?
I think I'll just do the 1.
Okay. You are able to...
I'm gonna stay with them. I'm not gonna jump down while we're flying.
Sure.
And I don't want them to just fall off, and I can't hold it on.
Yeah, so you'll have one open in a way where like you can get it off, but then you
slip my hand out.
Yeah, you can easily slip your hand out and rush off. Okay, great.
I'm gonna tuck my tool back.
Of course, yes. You believe. All right, so the horse lands. The knight hops off and kind of grabs you and the soldier and kind of hauls you guys both up. This knight, like with his full helmet and everything, he's about over 7 feet tall with like the crest of it and all like the full helmet and everything, really really big. And you imagine there's some lift in the boots too, in the greaves. They're spurred and sort of stuff. There's this nightmarish sort of skeletal horse just kind of looking there, and he just kind of pulls you both to one side. You notice that various undead soldiers in differing states of decay, some are skeletal, some seem to be more just corpses. Some of the corpses seem mindless, others, though clearly dead, have have a spark of a light in their eyes. A good number of beings are sort of walking up here, and this sort of knight is sort of saying, I have found 2 prisoners. One turns himself in, bringing the other as a gift. Put them in the dungeon until the queen calls for them. I will speak to her. And he begins to walk off. You notice that some of these people come forward and they start taking the various weapons, like your knives and the weapons that the soldier had, and the soldier's just kind of clocking where they're taking those weapons to. One of the less decayed entities sort of walks up and says, yes. The Shadow Elf was a revolting specimen, and some sort of cursed hag.
Hag?
What have you done, witch? Struck a bargain for the very swamp whence you live, whence you've come to keep its stultifying miasma upon you. How hideous are you under all that fog?
I'm just making sure I know what your face looks like.
I'm glad. Given the cloud on yours, I cannot say the same. Bring them.
That will be your downfall.
Oh. Never mind the dungeons. Put this one in the cage. The soldier's
what
like,
cage?
you were told to take us to the silence. Put her in the cage.
What cage?
2 guys grab you and they start marching you sort of down one of the halls.
Soldier!
Soldier looks back at you and goes, I don't know why. I'll go to the dungeon. I'll go wherever you want me to go. They start sort of pushing him in another direction.
How many of them are there?
Leading you down a passage, there is basically a zombie and a skeleton. Kind of effectively. In the room, there's maybe 4 others, including this one thing that was kind of more intense.
I'm here as a gift for your Lich Queen. I don't think this is exactly what you want to do with me. It'd be a great mistake for you. You don't know what gift I am.
The people carrying you seem unfamiliar with your words or unwilling to, listen to them. The soldier is now being marched down sort of a different corridor.
Are you accustomed to disappointing your queen?
The skeleton just looks at you and goes, and they sort of march you down a sort of hallway. You suddenly, there's another skeleton nearby who's at a door, seeing them come, and they sort of hiss things at them, and the skeleton sort of throws a switch, and a door begins to creak open that's on some sort of gear system.
Do I recognize what language they're speaking?
Ooh, I like that. You also are...
I speak a lot of languages. You
speak a lot of languages, and I'm going to say because of that, give me an investigation roll, as you're trying to put together these sort of sounds.
Where? Ooh, that is a 24.
Well, a 24 is a good roll. All right, I will even say that you speak enough of this. This is a language called Fantese. It is the language of the dead. It is something that is more sort of like guttural and tonal, and it's sort of something that all dead creatures find some degree of speech or at least understanding. It can be a very sort of almost simplistic pigeon language, so that it has some kind of combinations of various other phrases and an incredibly simple sort of basic thing. So you, I would say, with your just general linguistic knowledge, you understand that one of them hissed "open" and the other said "K."
Do I think that they would respond? Do I know enough to know if they would respond if I tried to talk to them in Abyssal or Infernal?
Ooh, I think with a 24 on that and understanding, those are things for fiends. Those are things for like the creatures from like hell and the abyss.
Right.
And these kind of like demonic, devilish entities. These are dead things. These are.
So they haven't actually been to hell, so they wouldn't recognize those.
They wouldn't recognize, and even if they recognize it, they wouldn't respect it. They respect the most powerful undead around, which is likely this Lich Queen you keep hearing about.
Right, I'm surrounded by a bunch of idiots. Don't know any decent tongue.
The door is sort of thrown open, or kind of not thrown open, rather like clicked open with this kind of like gear type vibe. And you see that they're hanging down, kind of like a horrible like Christmas ornament off of this sort of dizzying kind of tilted tower. Also, I should have mentioned, as you were going kind of in this hall, it's all like just like an angle, like it's real kind of unpleasant and kind of like ugh. But there's just this there's this round cage. You see there are several like remains of beings within it, and the skeletons are moving over to it and like opening the lid of it, and they're intending to just toss you into it.
So the cage is on the ground or suspended? The
cage is suspended probably 300 feet in the air, because you're looking down from in this spire. The cage is 20 feet in diameter. It's like a 20-foot sphere. So you're going to fall about 20 feet down into this sort of iron cage that is kind of just shaped like a sphere, basically. You suspect it would be difficult but not impossible to like climb up on the inside of it and get out, but they do seem to lock it from the top. You see them like unfastening it from above.
I have one more question.
Please.
Do I still have my whip?
Your whip was taken. I'll tell you what. You can make a luck roll. But the consequences will be rougher. I'm pretty sure they would have taken your whip, but I suppose a whip would have been perhaps they wouldn't have viewed that as a weapon. I mean, the knight was pretty thorough. He took your daggers.
Yeah, I would assume a whip.
If you want to roll for the whip, you can, but...
No!
But bad luck could have more negative consequences, is the idea.
So you're saying I do think it'd be possible to climb up to the top of the cage, but if I opened it, do I think I could get out? Would I be able to go anywhere?
You'd have to get basically you are now you've entered a room that is open to the ground. Like you see just like it's like sickens you, especially since the floors are like tilted, because you could just go tumbling down hundreds of feet to the sort of just rocky, stony graveyards below. There is this 20-foot sort of cage sphere hanging like a weird Christmas ornament, and the top of it is, like below this open space. So the idea is they're gonna open a hatch and toss you in, and if they ever needed you to get out, you're not sure what they'd do. But given what you're seeing, you're not sure this is a thing people are removed from that often. It would certainly be possible, but yeah.
Oh god. So if I end up in it, I wouldn't think there would be a way to get myself out, even if I could open it. Like, I would be stuck.
You think it would be hard to, but not impossible. I'll tell you what, while you marinate on this thing,
I'm just like, I don't think I can fight them both. I'm gonna have to get in the damn thing.
If you're sort of looking here like, ugh, boy. Well, I mean, and in fairness, if you'd rolled even and we had just started a few hours later, would you have started in this cage? I mean, yeah. But the point being, we're going to cut over.
A dramatic cutaway.
Yeah. We're going to cut over to my good friend, the Soldier of Fortune. Good ol' SOF. Now, the Soldier of Fortune is being sort of pushed by a larger coterie of guards. down, sort of tilting things until he gets to almost like the main, kind of like toward the main thing of this. They're saying, clearly they were taking him to some dungeon, but after some discussion, they move him to some cells that are sort of like up on the chamber they're on, kind of higher. They're not taking him to like the depths below, since apparently he will be needed sooner than later, if what that knight said is true. So, Liv, I would ask you to roll a d13 for me.
Yes.
This is a table roll. This is not a luck roll. This is just you rolling a thing, and we're just sort of seeing what sort of cool thing happens here. There are a few numbers I'm going to ask you to re-roll, but otherwise. Roll 13.
Can you see it?
Oh, that's really fun. All right, could you please roll the d13 again? Because we do have another one. Thank the makers of the makers. Okay. 11. 11, yay! All right.
4.
4. Okay, so sad for me, we do not have a horror surge, which honestly, this is the time for a horror surge because it wouldn't affect Hattie at all. It would just be a Soldier of Fortune horror surge.
But Hattie, I think, is going to need the Soldier of Fortune to be okay.
Very true. Oh no. All right. The Soldier of Fortune is sort of marched over and sort of does a double take as he enters, because there is another shadow elf in one of these sort of little vestibules. And he sort of pauses and looks in at who it is, and when he sees them, he kind of just goes, he sees this shadow elf. They are, they look rugged, maybe a little more almost like wood going of a shadow elf, kind of almost wood elf-like, but in the sort of more shadowy thing, that the sclera totally full. They are wearing various furs. And I'm not sure if you've ever actually encountered this individual, Hattie, but the Soldier of Fortune looks at them and says, "Trapper." And the Trapper looks back and they say, "Soldier, what are you in for? Ha ha ha." The Soldier's like, "Yeah, well, I actually came here, kind of gets thrown in. Came here willingly." Probably a dumb idea, but and so they are in adjoining little chambers, and the Trapper, they'll say, "Oh, I would have thought she'd bring you." "What do you mean?" "Who?" "Same one who brought me." The Soldier looks worried. "Who brought you, Trapper?" The Trapper, they just sort of lean back, kind of crossing their arms and their furs, saying, "The Lich Queen's not really that mad at me, but oh boy, the bounty on you, and not just from her. Oh no. Oh, Soldier." "And you without a weapon." Soldier's like, "I am a weapon. But I'll admit this is a pretty bad situation." "Okay, so bounty hunter is who you're talking about, right? Just so there's no the Trapper." "Yes, the bounty hunter. Just, you don't have to say everything." "I know, but sometimes." "All right, well, okay, well, you think she's still here?" "I don't know." Okay, this got more complicated. Great. Okay, well, guess I better fresh it up before my audience. Hattie, we'll cut back to you. You're looking at your options. It's basically fight or into the cage.
I don't think I can take them both. I don't have anything except this. It's a shank, and it's a good shank.
Well, Hattie,
they're not.
give me a luck roll.
I don't want to give you a luck roll.
It's good to give a luck roll every now and then. You might roll.
It's a D13, yeah.
What's that? Yeah, it's a D13.
It's a D13.
It's a good old D13.
They're both like skeletons. They're not fleshy. They're undead, so I don't think I'd be able to do much with this small thing. It's not like I can pierce a carotid. Oh, that fell on the floor. That's fantastic. That's a 2.
Hattie, you are looking around. Though these beings are armed, and you could conceivably attempt to, use a turn like stealing a weapon from one of these people. Since your hands are free and they don't know that, you could sort of do that. There's no basically the luck roll there was like, oh cool, there's a scimitar lying right here I can just grab,
Right.
Yes, you have multiple enemies. They're sort of skeletons and zombies. The things in your favor are they don't know your hands are undone. Shoving people off of stuff down into this sort of pit below could be a way to even the odds, etc. But
there's 2 of them.
There's technically 3, but one of them is like was at the door and just opened the door. So that one's not like in here with you. The other 2 are sort of moving.
Yeah, but that's the one that I would have to get past.
That is one you'd have to get past. Yes, but that's a future problem. Or go in the cage and see what happens in the cage.
I think I'm gonna.
What would Indiana Jones do? That's the real question.
They're not Nazis.
I mean, they're not, but they do work for like an evil empire of.
They do work for an evil empire.
Yeah.
I think Hattie will. Do I suspect that these 2 will leaving me alone in the room after I'm in the cage? Like, does that seem like that's the intention? Do I have any way of getting
You
a
do
sense of that?
suspect that once you're put into this cage, you're going to be left in the cage.
Okay.
Presumably
I
to
will.
rot.
I will allow them to put me in the cage because I think I'll have a
Understood.
better chance of escaping the cage. I'm not going to give away that advantage just yet, but I think I can get my way out of it.
Understood. I like it.
Let's
So,
put me in.
they sort of move you over to the thing. One of them sort of shuffles with this sort of locking mechanism, and you do realize that the locking mechanism is a series of latches that are basically even from down within the cage, it would be very hard to reach out and get them. It's not a lock that you'd be picking from within the cage. It's latches you'd have to maneuver from inside. They unlatch it, creak open this kind of, partially curved door. You're going to be dropped down in there, and unless you take any action, they do toss you in.
What that I can do? Oh, wait, that's what I should have done. I forgot. It's been so long since I played her.
Oh, that's right. You do have. I see what you just highlighted on your
that
sheet.
I have an ability.
I mean, they haven't put you in yet. You could do it now.
Okay, so can I take advantage of the fact that they're maybe a little bit more distracted too because they're trying to open this cage?
One of them is completely distracted doing that at present. Absolutely.
Okay, and then cloud the issue.
All right. So suddenly, as an action, we'll now go ahead and roll initiative for me.
Okay.
Because we're gonna get into some shenanigans.
It's been so long since I played her. I forgot that I had that ability.
I get it.
Okay. Ooh, that's a good one. Wait, do I have a bonus?
I think you have a +3 on initiative.
Why does it say +7?
Oh, I take it back. You do, because that is, you are an explorer. You get to add a bunch of stuff to your initiative. So yes,
I forgot because I rolled a 17.
Oh, nice. So you have a 24?
Yes.
All right. So they
no idea where the fuck Hattie's gonna go.
So basically,
She ain't going in that cage.
I'm gonna even say with a 27, because you are 10 ahead of anybody else, I'm going to allow you to sort of basically do this, and as their I'm gonna let you do that as a surprise round, or as they're gonna be surprised by this. So Hattie, you sort of suddenly emanate, and perhaps you have an instinctive feeling of as the winds rush up. As the winds kind of go past here, you let the wind sort of carry it around you as this sphere of smoke just emanates around you. Now, the winds that are whipping here are fast enough that they can dissipate this, but you're also up in an area, so they're not going to fully dissipate it. like the bottom, basically like the bottom of it is getting whipped away, but the top of it is still kind of up in this chamber. You know, like there's wind below you rushing. So you easily cover yourself and both of them in smoke. And they seem to, the one that's like, they don't seem to react to the creation of the smoke. You hear them like hissing, and since you can see through smoke, being a smoking one, you see that the one who's like trying to pull on the levers is still doing so. The one next to you is kind of just like its skeletal eyes are just sort of looking around, unblinking. So it is your action. You may do whatever you would like.
So one's opening the thing and is away from me, and then there's the one closer to me who's kind of...
He's still standing right next to you, but he's hunched forward, you know, within 5 feet. The other one is like, it has like a claw on you or whatever. That the skeleton's holding you, the zombie is doing the thing.
The zombie's doing the thing, the skeleton's holding me.
Correct.
So can I attempt to shove the skeleton off this ledge down?
Absolutely. You have advantage on this roll. Ordinarily, this would be an athletics roll, no question, but just for fun, I'm going to let you do this one as acrobatics, since it's out of nowhere, and you can kind of be doing sort of a little more like dexterous sort of, you know, like almost like you pull yourselves both and then you try to flip back. So you have advantage because this person cannot see you. So roll an acrobatics check to try and shove your foe off of this ledge.
Oh, that is a 15 plus 5. That's 20.
With a 20, I guess technically this is contested, but I roll a not that. So basically, you, as you sort of do this, doesn't even quite realize what you're doing. Just thinks you're like shifting in the wind, but kind of does hiss, and suddenly the skeleton is just out. Boom. So the skeleton like falls clattering down. You're looking, and the zombie. Zombies don't really have much perception, since, you know, they're zombies. So the zombie on its turn hears clattering behind it. Has passive perception 8. Actually doesn't even hear clattering, but kind of like goes and then just continues opening this stuff. So the zombie the zombie uses its turn to open that door. And it's kind of like moving, kind of like shuffling back towards you, moving its arms. You do hear hissing coming from the door, meaning that the skeleton at the door can tell something is amiss. But it is your turn again, because the zombie just used his turn to just go about his business.
So his back is turned to me, or he's next to me?
He has turned around, so now he is facing you.
Okay.
If you wanted to reattempt, I will also, you know, I'm also going to say maybe the acrobatics for the shove, that was allowed on the skeleton because they're so light. For this zombie, It probably is going to be more athletics, but can't see you, you still will have advantage.
Yeah, I think that's all I can really do. I've got to get this thing out of my way, so I think I'm going to try and give him a solid shove as well.
Okay. Go ahead, you have advantage on the roll.
Okay, so I do have advantage, so I do get to roll twice.
You get to roll twice and use the higher one, but this will be flat. You don't get the +5.
Flat, no.
Meanwhile, the zombie is going to be rolling...
do higher than that one. Okay, 14.
With a 14, you shove the zombie. But the zombie, I do roll a natural 20 for its sort of resistance. So you feel your hands, and you're suddenly like, "Oh, thick boy," and you're like, "Oh no, this was a yoked zombie." And the zombie kind of like looks down and sees the hands, and kind of begins to snarl. And now that one behind is also snarling. The zombie on its turn is going to attack you, but at disadvantage because it cannot see you. Okay. A natural 1 means it misses you. So as its turn, the zombie kind of slams towards you, but you're able to kind of just like slightly get out of its way, and now you guys are both kind of on the ledge. The zombie is howling. That other skeleton will be entering initiative on the next round.
Okay.
but it comes back to your turn again, Hattie. So you think that the skeleton's going to come into your. As of now, you have the advantage of the and I assume you've slipped out one hand, so you're unencumbered by the manacles. I guess you could use the manacle as a weapon if you wanted to, but shoving is the way to like get these people out. Yeah.
That's the only option I really have, because I don't think slashing damage of 1 is going to do much.
Probably not against a zombie. So it is back to your turn. What would you like to do?
I mean, I'm gonna try and. So we're both side by side. The ledge.
At this point, you and the zombie are like side by side on the ledge. Kind of like. The zombie attacked you, couldn't see you, shifted around. You can certainly try to shove again, or tackle.
Yeah,
I'll
give it another shove.
All right, give it another shove. You have advantage.
Okay. 18.
With an 18, you rolled an 18.
Yep.
Okay. So there's a cool thing that's happening for me.
Uh-oh.
The zombie has a strength of 1.
Okay.
The zombie has a 14 for its strength. Because I rolled a 13. I forget how much more you do it when it's on a d20. It's great. Okay, so, thank you for me. Amazing. Oh, we're at 12. Oh, it's so exciting. Okay, so, you do this time manage to shove the zombie, and I'll tell you what, just to be crazy, I'm gonna roll a d13. On an even, the zombie falls into the cage, and on an odd, the zombie just falls off.
I was hoping it would fall into the cage.
I roll a 9, and the zombie hits the cage, but then rolls off the outside and sort of plummets down.
Dead man falling.
The other skeleton cannot sort of see you, so uses its turn to creep into the smoke, and you see it it's just trying to figure out where you are. I'm gonna let it do a bonus action, disadvantage to nope. Rolls a 1, has no idea where you are, and it does make a strike, just nowhere near you.
Nowhere. But it's in the room now.
It has sort of stepped into the room and the door is open. It has kind of swatted a couple of times.
This is the skeleton.
It doesn't see you. This is another skeleton. It is your turn. Your smoke. You can tell your smoke is dissipating with the wind.
Right.
But the skeleton still does not seem to see you quite yet. What would you like to do?
How far is it? Is it close to do I think I can run past it to the door and slam the door shut?
You definitely can get past it to the door. But because you'd be running right next to it, but since it won't be able to see you, it doesn't get attack of opportunity. But you know that the door does not slam. It's on it's on a gear.
Damn.
The door does not slam, at least as far as you can tell.
I'm gonna have to take this one out too.
Make an Arcana roll.
Ooh, okay. My bonus. 10. It's not roll right on Arcana.
I don't think you quite. I'm trying to give you a hint about skeletons in D&D, but I don't.
Of what to do with the skeleton.
A 10.
Oh my.
You do suspect. I'll say this then. You think that skeletons are actually vulnerable to a certain kind of damage.
Okay. I'm trying to remember.
It's a,
If I smash the dang thing, the bones.
It is, yeah, it's bludgeoning.
They're kind of brittle.
If you bludgeon skeletons, they tend to take stuff. So I would allow you to make an improvised, almost morning star with the unattached
with the thing. Good. That's what I was gonna do. I was if I'm not gonna get past it, I'm gonna try and smash it in. I was just debating if I try to grab its legs to tear them off or smash its head in. All
right, go ahead and sort of you rush it and you swing with your thing. You have advantage on this attack because it cannot see you. And you will be adding, it's an improvised weapon, so I think let's just add, you'll add 3 to this.
Okay.
Yeah.
Which one am I using? Or just
You roll 2 d20s and you'll add 3 to the higher one. Yeah.
14 and nat 20.
A nat 20? Okay.
Yes.
So roll, so you get automatic 6 from the thing.
Hand-carved die.
That's perfect. So it's a 6, roll a d6.
I don't have one out. Hold on. Let me use this thing.
Ooh, yeah. Absolutely.
Which is very cool.
Look at that fancy.
Oh, wait. There we go. It does this.
That's very rad.
Okay.
Now I'm envious.
Patty's about to smash some skeleton. 2.
A 2. Okay, so that is 8 bludgeoning damage. But then it's vulnerable, so that's 16. So you do basically just like smash you. The skull shatters into pieces. The rest of the body sort of crumples. Bones fall off, teetering down out of the cage.
Kind of humorous.
And takes out the last guard with her manacle like a morning star. That's pretty rad, Hattie. It's a pretty rad round. What do you do now?
She signs off with that's kind of humorous. Thank you, Southpaw Funk. That's the question now. What the hell do I do?
Yeah. The good news, so you're not going in the cage.
Not going in the cage, but now I'm in a strange castle. Don't know where I am. Don't have my one ally. Oh boy.
Ally. Well then,
Yeah.
if you sort of, I assume you leave this room.
Well, yes.
Okay, yeah, so you sort of, you head back into the sort of sloping passage, and you're like, okay,
I have to start trying to stealth my way around.
yeah, so you start, okay, perfect. Then we will leave off on Hattie for a moment. And we're going to cut back to the soldier. It is probably like bad storytelling of me to separate the NPC we're following and the player we're following and just let them be together. But Hattie said something to that guy, and he wanted to punish her by putting her in a cage.
Hattie mouthed off. It's what she does.
There you go. Yeah. But she looks great doing it. And he thought she was a witch who had swamp fog stuck to her.
Yep.
Shows how little he knows. All right. The Soldier of Fortune is taken into a they call it one of the reliquary chambers. These are like the sub-throne rooms of the Lich Queen. He is led there manacled, where that knight is waiting for him. The knight sort of grabs him roughly. The soldier goes, "Huh, fancy meeting you here." The knight just gruffly leads him forward and says, "Well, where's the Lich Queen? I put on my best loincloth. Just come in here." The knight just doesn't say anything, just shoves him forward. At the front of this room, there is no throne. Instead, there is a sort of plinth on which rests a large skull. The skull seems to be made of gold encrusted with gems, and is larger than what a human skull would be. After a few moments, the eyes in the skull begin to glow. The knight bows and shoves down the soldier, who sort of does the same. Then this voice permeates the room, this voice that is darkness and evil. A voice from beyond the grave. We've heard undead speak many times, but this voice, to anyone whose present is different, even the Soldier of Fortune, despite his shadow elf form at present, the hair on the back of his neck stands up as the voice of the Lich Queen is heard through this magical gold-encrusted oversized skull. You have conquered.
cost me greatly.
Yeah. Sorry about that, your deathfulness. What can I say? I was conscripted into a war, and, well, let it never be said. If the soldier of fortune goes to war, he wins. I don't apologize for that, but didn't mean any offense, certainly.
You claim to have information. Is this a cheap trick to try and spare your life?
No, your deceasedness. I've learned the name of the woman from the album. Obviously, I was sent to find this by people not on your side, but now that the mists are gone, I don't know your feelings on the stone man. Yeah. The point is, in exchange for my freedom and a very specific magical reliquary, I can get you that name and a lot more.
The name can be taken from your mind, shadow thing.
True, but the name I give you for free, Wendy Raven. If she's among the dead, you can use her magic, you can find her, you can bring her. That's a gift. But if you want to know what else, if you want to know the real story, I've got a line on it. That's why I came here. The thing is, I need something. I need a diadem, or a circlet, or a tiara. I need something to protect the mind. I've met someone, she's... I know this is the kind of thing that can get me killed, but listen to me, your expired fullness. You and I have something in common. We're both completely in love. The room begins to shake with this, just shadow, dark, purple vibration. The night begins to flinch. The soldier, as the hate of the Lich Queen begins to fill this room. The two gems in the eyes of this oversized gold skull begin to glow a wild purple. This pulsing purple. It's almost like rotting the room around it. The eons of the grave just spreading across this space. The soldier must see how well he fares against this as the Lich Queen.
No!
Oh, it's a 13.
No!
Oh, it's a 13.
No!
Oh my god, guys, it's a 13. Oh, can I do it again? Give me another one. Oh, give me another one. Give me another one. Give me another one. No, it's a 5. But
doesn't it put us at 13 on the fucking clock?
the dread storm begins.
Oh no.
Oh, it's so fun. Oh, it's so good.
I'm not in the fucking cage for this.
Yeah, that would be a bad place to be. That would be a really bad place to be. All right, Liv, would you please do the honors and roll me a d13?
Here we go. Right, folks. $11.
11, you say?
11, I say. At least it's not 5. I feel like we always roll 5.
Well, what happens now is a little bit different because of this shenanigan. Oh, but 11 is historically paradise. That's almost too perfect. Oh, boy. Okay, all right. Okay, so the Lich Queen is just punishing the soldier for speaking of her love. Because the soldier, I'm being honest, that was maybe a dumb thing. I mean, like, he's just so in love, he's like, you'll get it too, because you're in love like me. But that was a pretty sort of dumb thing to say, man.
That was a dumb thing to do, man. But he's blinded by love.
And because he rolled a 13, that's bad luck on addition. So the Soldier of Fortune, like, falls to the ground in pain. But outside, there is this sudden just howling of, like, wind and rain, and thunderstorms begin to crack above. Hattie, you are sneaking through the castle. Please make a stealth roll.
Stealth. Yeah, +3. Not great, but not awful. That's a dirty 13.
Dirty 13. A clean one would have been great, because we would have just started the clock again.
I know.
But a dirty 13 I'll take. I love this. Oh god, this is exciting. So, a 13, because of what's going on, most of the undead things that are moving through here do not notice you. The skeletons, these zombies, they don't seem to sort of take any note of you, your sort of shadowy form moving. And you also hear, after, a few moments of moving around in here. Actually, you have probably been moving through this space for a little longer of a time, given the Soldier of Fortune was in a cell for a while. You may have spent like an hour just kind of like, very carefully navigating. And given that you're an explorer, I'm kind of going to spot you the idea that you're like, okay, well, I've at least gotten away from this thing. I'm
a bit more adapted. Maybe I'm a little bit, have a bit of an intrinsic.
You certainly do.
Instinct about castle layouts.
Yeah, it's that. I also think, just your navigator's tools. Is there anything you're specifically looking for in here, or you're just kind of like, don't get caught, find a way out? Is it just kind of general?
Don't get caught, find a way out.
Okay. Are you looking for any other objects, items, things that were taken from you? Precious whips,
yes,
etc.
It would be good to find my weapons.
Okay, cool. So we'll say that you have not ventured too far from where you were like done, in case you're sort of looking around for a weapon. God damn. Okay, so the fun thing for you, Hattie, is because of the distraction, 2 of these sort of more powerful undead things here, they do have passive perception of 13, but because you are stealthing 13 as a storm is brewing outside, you are managing to like stick to the shadows and like stay in little mists. You do hear, though, a lot of hissing and speaking of Fantes, and a few of them are speaking sort of your language, sort of their common tongue or whatever. You do eventually come upon that sort of more advanced, less decomposed undead, that warden who sent you to the cage, who is sort of walking through and kind of saying,
"What is this? What is happening out there? Is this truly a dread storm? Close all the gates. that smoky witch in the cage, she'll be pulled apart for this. Yes, but you must close all the gates, bar the windows. We don't want anything untoward coming in, infecting Her Majesty's castle."
And various things are moving about. He's giving orders, so you see a lot of like doors, window shutters are being closed as rain begins to sort of pound in within. You also notice, Hattie, that there are a couple of there's one like zombie who's doing something and is kind of which, with your understanding of Fantes, is is probably just a phrase of like hey, something, attention. And you go over, and this kind of warden says,
"It's something from the mist. Something is animating the statues down there. Pay it no mind. Just close."
The The zombie begins to close one of the shutters, but then there's a thunk against the window as a stony hand, clawed, punches its way through, and a gargoyle, covered in like lichen and moss. You think that it was a gargoyle or a statue of some kind down on graves hundreds of feet below, has flown up here and is beginning to crawl its way in, and fight with this zombie. The warden rushes forward, drawing a sword, and they sort of begin fighting together. Hattie, what do you do in this situation?
Do I know anything about... You said it's a gargoyle? Can you hear me?
I can, yes. Since it's a gargoyle.
You said it's a gargoyle?
It is. Oh, you said...
Do I know it?
Yes, I'm sorry. Yes, it is a gargoyle. I thought you said, "Do I know anything because it's a gargoyle?" And I was like, yeah.
I was gonna say, do I know anything about like gargoyles or something?
Make another Arcana roll, unless if there's a different.
I'm like, is it an actual gargoyle? Or is it just an animated statue?
I think this would be an Arcana. Yeah.
It's a 15.
Looking at this gargoyle, it seems to be pretty. It seems to be pretty sturdy. You know that there are different types of gargoyles. Sometimes they are elemental creatures that take the form of sort of stone statues. This one seems to be more a stone statue sort of coming to life. It definitely looks like it had been down there for a long time, just motionless. The difference between them is somewhat academic, though, because they're both stoned things that will just, like, pummel stuff. And this one is currently fighting a lot of undead, sort of trying to get in here. You definitely suspect that you heard him saying that statues are animating below, so you suspect that outside of this castle in the grounds, probably that city is being overrun with murderous statues, and ones that can fly are coming up here. So, that's,
But I don't have any sense of, like, I wouldn't know what they would want, or if they are directed by someone else, or anything.
I think, Hattie, you have been around long enough to understand. You don't know what causes them, but there are these storms where these purple mists just roll across the world, bringing rain and thunder and lightning and horrors. And one of those is happening here, which, honestly, for this place, on brand.
Yeah.
But so you suspect that they are being attacked by some... It's just that sort of wild horror that wells up in this place.
It just wants to destroy. There's no reasoning with such a thing, or using it in leverage. In that case, then... Oh.
That is true, yes.
Yes.
You know what? If you wind up encountering one, we can revisit this conversation, but certainly...
Well, I'm just like, do I think that they're sent by someone who's trying to do something?
No, you don't think that. You think that they have appeared here. The only thing you would imagine on that front is like sometimes the horrors like oh, here's a bunch of horrors, but these ones all really like this thing, or like there may be ways to deal with them, but in this case, nothing's really with a 15, nothing's jumping to mind.
No, and I don't think I have anything that could be used to fight one of these things. I don't exactly have to help the warden either. Can I just try and slip by and leave him to his fate?
Absolutely. Please make another stealth roll.
Okay. That is, what is it? +3 or +4? +3. 19.
With a 19... you manage to evade the warden. You see one of those knights in their dark armor kind of like rushing down a corridor, and you manage to like hide from them. They don't even turn one of their sort of like eyeless masks towards you. You keep going. Hattie, I'm going to ask you to make another luck roll with your sweet little D13.
Excellent. Is this to see if I find an armory or a room where my contraband
It
might
actually
be?
is for that, yes.
I had a feeling.
Just to be nice.
That is a 7.
A 7. All right. 7 is a yes, but also sort of a
yes, but.
It's a yes, but basically. Yes, but. So as you make your way there, you do see a room that just is giving you like big armory energy. You're like, yeah, okay, I think that's sort of a space. It's the door to it is currently
Big codpiece energy.
You're
That's where you'd keep them.
I mean, yeah, it would be. Well, the armored ones, the decorative ones, those would be in yeah.
Sure.
But
In someone's bedside table.
exactly. You'll never believe what we found in the Countess's bedside table. So as you're sort of heading there, what is your perception? The door is sort of open, and you can hear the sound of rain beyond the door into that room. But you strongly suspect that's where your stuff was taken. It matches the trajectory of where stuff was being carried off.
Okay, but what's the problem? Again, I just don't think I can get into. Or I just suspect that's what.
No, you hear the rain from inside.
Okay. But so that's all. That's the but is that I hear the rain on the inside.
Mm-hmm.
All right, I will try to sneak into the this room here.
Make a stealth roll.
The butt is inside that room. So.
Hey now, guys.
Okay, that is 14.
A 14. Terrific.
No, I don't like that.
All right. So you creak the door open, and you see a room where there is a massive set of windows. There, one of them is locked, one of them is partially ajar, the other one is fully open. As you're sort of peeking in, you do see that on a table here. You see on a table. We've said much worse on stream.
I know. Save it.
But you see on this table that there are some weapons. You see the massive broadsword that the Soldier of Fortune had, as well as a hand axe and a small hammer next to it. And you see your whip and your daggers. But your whip is a special whip I had forgotten, so that's kind of why I was like, oh yeah, you definitely want to get the swinger's whip back. So yeah,
I want the whip back.
So you see your whip is on this table. But now that you're sort of partially into the room creeping, you can see that at the other end of this table, next to where the sort of window is completely open and the wind is going down, you see that there is a stone figure with massive carved feathered wings holding a zombie by the neck. The zombie is and all this thing is doing is squeezing. And as you have stepped into the room, this stone angel whips its head over and sees you.
Don't mind me. Keep on with your work. I'm just here to retrieve my thing.
The zombie's head falls down, the body tossed. There's blood and viscera on one of these angelic hands. It moves. The angel's form is somewhat androgynous. Carved and it's wearing a toga. Robes of some kind, and it is very high cheekbones, a somewhat stylized carving almost. But it begins to walk toward you. The footsteps just thud, thud, as this stony thing is moving its way.
I have no qualms to fight with you. It seems we both hate these things, these zombies. They're pretty annoying. I'm just here to get my things and get out of the way, and heck, I can even help you if you want. I took out a few of them myself.
The angel continues coming closer to you. It is now 10 feet, 8 feet, 5 feet away. Now I assume you're you're at the table with your whip right there, but now it's standing right next to you. It's just staring down at you. The stone angel raises its hands. Thunk! And this massive, like, thunking sound as it puts them together in a prayerful sort of supplication pose. It kneels.
Oh. I'll put my hands together too.
The angel.
Oh, wait.
Mhm.
Go ahead.
No, yeah,
Go ahead.
The angel has tilted its head down a bit, but its eyes remain blank. There's no iris or anything. It's just totally blank stone eyes, so you can't tell if it's looking at you or looking down or what it's doing.
Oh. It's a stone angel.
It's a stone angel.
Can I speak to it in Celestial?
Ooh, I like that. What do you say in Celestial?
I am your friend. Let me help you.
Hattie, you've witnessed a lot of things in your time in Hysteles. It's not even your first time being around creatures made of stone. You've known the Brickborn. Befriended many of
Right.
them. But this angel seems to understand the words you're saying. And as you're looking at it, you see something very strange. From the carved, gentle curve it's meant to represent the lower eyelid, you see this silty, dark gray, sandy kind of liquid. This tear start running down its cheek.
There's no need to cry. I'm not sure what horrible things you've seen, but well, I want to help.
Another tear from the other eye now. And then it says, in common, sex and drums and rock and roll. And that's when it reaches for you. We're going to cut over the Soldier of Fortune.
Oh!
This kind of sudden, like, this weeping angel just kind of rushing for you. At that point, the Soldier of Fortune is, like, on the ground being enervated. The knight is, like, stumbling out. The soldier's... Gonna roll for him again. How's my man doing? Ooh, that's really bad. He's not doing so good. The knight is sort of saying, Your Majesty, the darkness is a storm. And the Lich Queen is just, how dare you? Raging against him. But the doors sort of pour open, and a voice goes, Your Majesty, you don't need to worry yourself on this. I can handle him for you if you'd like. The soldier kind of, his chest bursting, kind of just, oh, fucking A. Behind him, in a much more kind of like very like high fantasy elf leathers and such like this, although she does have a brimmed hat, the bounty hunter is there with two massive crossbows at her sides. the dark energy in this room relents. The bounty hunter sort of steps in and says, "Is a dreadstorm something awful? I'm sure it's connected to his arrival. I know that you want him dead, your majesty, and I've been a faithful servant, but there's others who've put a bounty out for this one. Perhaps I could, I could make all y'all happy."
She says, "No, he will not leave here alive."
The bounty hunter says, Oh, no, he's wanted dead or alive. I said nothing about bringing him out." She just pulls out a big knife, starts walking to the prone soldier on the ground, manacled. The knight is sort of there as well. Things don't look good for the soldier of fortune. He's got to roll really good on this thing. Fell off the table.
No.
He rolls a 10, which is the absolute minimum of what he'd need to roll, but she has to roll really bad for him to be able to make it out of this room. I know this is not traditional stuff. This is really just rolling 2 dice, comparing them. That's kind of all D&D is anyway, but the stakes are high. All right. Now, I am rolling on behalf of the bounty hunter.
Okay.
If she rolls, like a 4 is going to be like an even situation here. 3 or lower, he can maybe get out. Although if she rolls a 13, it might be something else. The soldier of fortune is just on the ground. The bounty hunter steps towards him and has this knife out and says, "By your leave, your majesty."
"Be quick with it. Kill this one who has spoken of this. I have the name he gave. I care not for his other informations."
Of course. The soldier just looks up at her, kind of staring through her. He just says, "Medina. Oh, God. I wonder what it looks like." Bounty hunter says, "What looks like?" Soldier kind of grins up at her and says, "I don't know, pick one."
Gross.
And the bounty hunter is just thrown enough that as she brings the blade down, the soldier of fortune, with his incredibly fast reflexes, spins upwards and catches the knife right on his forearm. He then leaps up and spins around and basically gloves himself as he rips his hand out, leaving the skin outside of it. As just with a scream, and the bounty hunter begins hacking at him. The soldier of fortune now no longer, he pulls a Hattie and starts swinging the sort of gloved hand with his thing like this. The knight is moving forward. The Lich Queen is pouring dark energy here, but she's not actually in the room. The soldier of fortune is making a break for the door. Another roll for him. Liv, would you please roll a D13 on behalf of the other team?
Okay. Like that face.
12? That's really good. Yeah, the soldier of fortune rushes through the room. And he's trying to make it out. But then as the end of her knife protrudes from his chest.
Oh no.
The bounty hunter says, "Sorry about that. I got confused. This one's always been a little." She twists the knife. Just he falls down to the ground. Apologies, Your Majesty. Let me just... slits his throat as the Soldier of Fortune falls down to the ground.
What did the Soldier of Fortune roll?
1.
Fuck.
1 to 12. That was death.
That was
is what that was.
a death. That was a death, man. Whew, boy.
She starts kind of just hacking him apart. The Lich Queen says,
Yes. Yes. Take whatever memento you need to prove death.
"Oh, that'll be the head, Your Majesty." No, she's just cutting his head off.
But bring his heart to the pits, where I may feast on his... Wait. No. Something is off.
The thunder continues rumbling outside. Hattie.
Mm-hmm.
I have to roll one more thing. Hold on. Okay. Hattie. The angel is reaching for you.
Okay. I guess I would instinctively just step back a step.
Let's just, in that case, let's do the angel is like attacking you. So let's go ahead and make a dexterity.
Oh, it is attacking.
Yeah, it's an attack. Let's make a dexterity
Okay.
saving throw. You're not bad at those, certainly. As you sort of try to leap away.
Okay. It's 23.
23. Okay, Hattie? Honestly, because your acrobatics is the same as that, we'll say that it leaps and you just kind of like do like a backflip like up onto the table as it like lunges forward, turns down.
Okay.
You see your whip is at your feet.
Yep.
Yep. The Soldier of Fortune's weapons are there as well. What do you want to do?
So his weapons are there. My weapons are there.
Your weapons are there. His weapons are there. Obviously, this angel's gonna come for you, but do you want to grab anything as you go?
Well, yeah, I want to grab as much as I can carry. I mean, I'll grab my whip and am I able to grab my whip and my daggers and then his like broadsword? Or no?
You can get your whip and his broadsword.
Okay.
Your daggers, like that's you can probably have you can have like two hands basically.
Okay.
And yeah.
Okay.
You want to grab those things?
Yeah. I'll grab those things.
Understood. So you sort of grab those things as you touch the broadsword. I actually need you to make, for a moment, just a
Damn it.
make a wisdom saving throw.
God damn it. Okay. Thankfully, I'm good at those.
Yeah,
I guess.
you have a bonus to this.
Let's see this. 14.
All right. Hattie, you are not going to be you receive a jolt of like psychic like what as you grab that broadsword.
Okay.
And you then realize, and I assume are you just running out of the room?
Yeah, I mean, I
Yeah.
might try to like use my whip to swing out.
Oh my God! Yes, you. Oh yeah, no, roll. That's your whole fucking that's your whole.
That's the whole fucking thing.
So you grab the whip.
I got
and,
my whip back.
And basically, how do you then like sweep out and you're just out of the room? Wait a minute.
Yep.
Oh shoot. Wait. Okay, Hattie, because you haven't played this character in a while, I'm just going to remind you of a feature that is pretty rad that you have. If you are trying to escape,
Yes.
you can actually use your whip to anchor around points that you create. So if you wanted
that's what I
to,
was thinking.
you could go not to the castle, you could just go out the window.
Oh, I can't. I didn't know if I could go out the window. I thought they were all barred or whatever.
No,
so I can go
she
out.
she broke in one window. That's how she was in here. The angel.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
So
no, then yeah, I want to get out the fucking
You could
window.
go out the window and you could just like do like some free falls and just like like
yes, and whip my way down, swing my way down.
Okay, so Hattie. Oh my god, that's very fun.
That's why I was like, I need to get my whip back.
Okay, Hattie flips away.
Like Indiana Jones meets Spider-Man.
Yeah, so basically you're like, you're as you sort of flipping out like, da-da, da-da, as you're just like trying to like grab on stuff as you're going. As you are sort of falling down out of the thing in the sky, there is this like intense pain in your mind, this psychic thing that is a scream. And eventually you realize it's a scream that is familiar. It is the scream of the Soldier of Fortune.
Oh.
Oh, God. Oh, damn it, that hurts. Joe, shit. Oh, Hattie? Hey, cool. Hey, whoa, you made it out of the cage, huh?
What? Where are you?
As you flip down, you can tell that, like, the gem on this sword is glowing ever so slightly. Yeah, little backup plan of mine. So,
Nifty trick.
I kinda got killed. Don't worry about it. Usually doesn't take. I mean, at least not when I can get my soul out of there, if you know what I mean.
Is your soul in this gem?
It's in this. I'm not gonna be too specific about where it is, but the point is, thanks for the rescue. This is fucking cool, by the way.
I'm gonna need you to explain.
Believe me, I'm I am at your mercy right now, Hattie. You'll get plenty of explanations. Bad news is, didn't get what I was looking for. Good news is, well, there really isn't much good news for me right now, actually, but at least I'm not in the Lich Queen's, yeah. It's a Dreadstorm. Oh my god, I wish I was alive and swinging this thing. I'd be killing so many fuckers right now. Oh my god, oh, damn it. This is really a bummer. Alright, well, good times. Swing over that way. I know a way out of here.
Guess I don't have any choice but to trust you.
Yeah, I mean, you getting captured, believe me, doesn't help me right now.
I'm banking on that.
Yeah. Oh, and also you're banking on the winds. That's cool because it's like a swinging term, right? Or is that bouncing? I don't know. It's pool. Never mind. So as Hattie continues swinging with a magic, now sentient sword containing the Soldier of Fortune, as she swings down away through this dreadstorm.
So, your Lich Queen killed you, huh?
Actually, no, this bounty hunter killed me. I don't really want to talk about it. Okay, yes, in fairness, the Lich Queen, okay, I'll tell you a little what, the Lich Queen put me in a position where I could get killed. Yeah. I might have said the wrong thing.
So you owe me one, huh?
Yeah, Hattie, I owe ya. Yeah.
Alright.
I'm sure I'll be paying that off for a while, but if it means I get to see Medina and her tight little body one more time.
First of all, you're gonna have to stop speaking like that. I've got 99 problems, but a Lich ain't one.
Oh,
Watch your tongue.
Yeah, you don't have any Lich problems?
Clearly not. We're getting away from the castle.
Yeah, well, then we might have Lich problems. But yeah, okay, there we go. Good. As you two escape, that is where we will end tonight's session. So that was eventful. He's got a little backup. He's always got a little backup.
Oh man, what if I hadn't picked up the sword, Philip?
He would have said something, but
Okay.
it made things it made things much better that you did. Well, hi everybody. So, to people who are just watching us, that was this was our this was one of our crazy sessions where we're kind of following an important NPC who did meet his end, but he is not fully gone because he had a little backup plan, and he was just in range, and he was killed in such a way that the bounty hunter didn't kill him in a way where his soul is bound, and since his sword was so close, it was like within like I think he was able to just like zoop into that, and had he grabbed
Does
it.
the bounty hunter know he can do that?
I will phrase it like this. Well, the bounty hunter maybe doesn't care because she doesn't have his head, so she can prove to other people who want him dead that he's dead. But the Lich Queen knows something is amiss because she was like, yeah, give me the soul that's in there. Wait a minute. So, because the Lich Queen is basically just a sitcom character. The Lich Queen will show up in Third Time's the Charm. No, so there we go. Fun session. Thank you all so much for watching. We have other games on this channel. On Sunday night, we'll be back with Mystic Starport, our Star Wars game, where it's all in black and white, and they're just trying to live in a new galaxy. On Monday, we're back with Third Time's the Charm, our sitcom game that is very silly. On Wednesday, I believe we have a Top Flight, though I haven't confirmed that with any Top Flight players, so there should be a Top Flight on Wednesday, but, sometimes we forget. So great. But yeah, go to our Discord where you can find out. I think I do that. You can go to our Discord. We talk there. Go to our YouTube. We tube there. Go to our wiki. We wicket wickety wild.
We wickety wackety woo wicket. We wicket? Do we Ewok there?
Wicket W.
Ewok to our Wicket.
Wicket T. Wicket, is it Wicket T Warwick or Wicket W Warwick? I know that's his name of the main one. That was some fun stuff. So please join us for all of that fun. Liv, do you want to plug any stuff?
I mean, not now. Can't. Not allowed. What I will tell y'all is SAG is on strike.
You can plug things that aren't SAG, like you could plug like your calendars and stuff like that, or like
that is true.
Yeah.
So I do have. There's a link in my bio if you follow me on any of the socials. Thank you, Philip. I completely forgot.
Yeah.
There's a link in my bio to order yourself a super hot and sexy calendar for next year. It's all queer pole dancers. The proceeds of the sales from that calendar go to LGBTQ charities. We invested all the money ourselves into making this, and none of us are profiting off of it. We just wanted to do it as a fundraiser, so it's very cool. So there's that. I would say also just support your writers and your actors and SAG and WGA and UPS who may be on strike soon. If you've got shit to order it now.
That will be,
because
it's almost like the fact that everyone's going on strike. It's almost like
time for a general strike, America.
Yeah, maybe the way corporations are kind of the way income is being distributed so inequitably. It's almost like this is unsustainable unless. That's silly talk. What am I saying? It's all crazy. Well, thanks everybody. Thanks for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed this. This was a major episode. Some big. I have to say, the Soldier of Fortune things wouldn't have gone that bad, but you rolled a 12 and I rolled a 1.
Yeah, that was rough. And he talked about being in love. That was a mistake.
But that's the thing. When you're a man in love, you can't help but talk about your love, especially to people who also have love problems.
Ooh.
On that note, thank you so much. The clock is at 13. And until next time. Oh, and I should say we'll be back next week with this game with the whole cast to see what's up with Dracula.
Usual gang of suspects.
Exactly. So, until then, have a dreadful night.